you're welcome to. If you're not available to, switch.
Oh yeah, no,
Oh,
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Cool.
all right, we are live. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We are back with another FOMO Friday today. Lots of stuff has happened in the market in the last 48 hours. We'll dive into that. And then, of course, some of the other stuff that's happening in the crypto universe. We'll look into that as well. Super excited to be back this week with Bits of Wealth, the legend who did predict this move. We've been talking about this move for a while now. This is like no surprise to anybody. We were
Took a
talking about
while.
it, but
My God, it
yes,
took a while.
we've been talking about it for
Like 2 months
weeks.
maybe or something.
Yeah, 2 months, yes,
Feels like forever.
exactly. Yes, and he was very clear that 70s before 50s, and it's absolutely accurate here. We saw this play out beautifully, beautifully, and I know a lot of us did go long, did pick up the positions there, and we'll look into where we are headed next. This is
Yeah.
very exciting times. Nat is back with us as well, the queen of liquidity levels, so she'll be going over a bunch of stuff as well. We're gonna bring her up. I see her charts are already up here, so I'm gonna add her here, and then I'm gonna go and invite everybody. Here we go. Nat, take it away. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Thank you so much for having me, Lady Trader. What a move on Bitcoin. Beautiful, beautiful move. Shout out to Bits. He called this one very, very early. Um, I think he was like one of the first to call this move to the upside. But interestingly enough, what I am looking at right now is on the monthly, seem to have a slight rejection at this 20 EMA on the monthly. And what's very interesting is prior to this candle, if you guys can see, we had a rejection here, which led to a mega candle to the downside, right? What I am looking for or looking at, we have 10 days for this monthly candle to close. I think it's going to be very interesting if we see this candle close above the 20 EMA. I think that opens the door to slightly higher, right? The other scenario I am paying attention to is if this candle closes all the way down to 65,400 or 65,800. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out because that for me would signal, okay, this was just a short squeeze. The short squeeze is over and we're getting ready for more downside. I did want to bring up the 4-hour chart as well because this is one that I've mentioned on the spaces earlier with Bits and Cade. We are extremely overheated. If you guys look at the RSI, we are extremely overheated. And I know a lot of people don't like the RSI, but for me, the 4-hour RSI has been my bread and butter. Whenever I've seen it, this extremely overheated, it usually means there's some kind of downside to come, right? So if we zoom out, let's zoom out. Last time we got to this level of it being so overheated was all the way back in like 1010, right? And what happened when once we got to hold on, let me go back a little bit more to 1010 of last year. March, October. Can you tell my screen is touchscreen? There you go. Here you go. So last time we got this overheated, we came all the way down. We went from overbought to oversold. Doesn't mean, again, guys, doesn't mean that this is going to play out exactly. Doesn't mean we're going to get a 1010. But I think with all of the bullishness on the timeline, again, nothing wrong with it. We can absolutely close above 83 and a half and continue with a move higher, right? But this is telling me caution, right? See how we had the similarities leading up to 1010, leading up, right, literally at the beginning of October 1st, October 2nd, all the way to, even we had a slight dip on October 3rd, and then we had another bounce. This right here is similar to what I'm seeing currently on the RSI on the 4-hour. Again, I know a lot of people don't follow the 4-hour RSI, but for me, I think it tells a story and it's a story that we cannot ignore, especially for the communities, right? It's always good to be open to both sides and know the good side and the bad side of things, right? So we have the bullet scenario, we close above that 20 EMA on the monthly. We have to be open to a move higher, right? But the negative side, we close below. We're looking at the 4-hour RSI. It's signaling a move to the downside. So for me, if I'm someone that's in spot, that's heavily in spot, you can't go wrong hedging, right? So what I want to do, Lady Trader, I want to bring up the liquidity. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. Please take it away.
All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing this screen, and then we're gonna switch over to the liquidity, because what's very interesting, what is happening on the liquidity side is again similar to 1010. Does not mean that it's going to be a one for one, or that it's going to play out exactly to that level or the same way
What day of the
that it
week
did.
was 1010 Nat?
Was it a Wednesday? I have to
Was
go
it?
back and check. That's actually a really good
I'll, I'll,
question. I
I'll
have
I'll
to go
check
back
really
and check.
quickly. Yeah, let me check while
Okay.
you're speaking.
Oh, actually, it was a Friday. It was a Friday. Double check. Double check.
Hold on, let me check. Yeah.
Okay. In the meantime, so this is one thing that I mentioned on Spaces with Cade was there was big liquidity. This is spot at 80K, close to 80K. And what did we do? We came up slightly above it, slightly to it, and then we wigged down. So this is why I wouldn't rule out some kind of revisit. Grab that 80K, grab the liquidity on the spot side that's at 80K, and then head lower. But this is definitely an area of interest. Let's see how much that is. I believe it's close to 20 million or something like that. It was big. Oh, 37 million. This is a 37 million at 80K.
Friday, Nat.
It would be Friday, right?
Yeah.
You see? Interesting. All right. So let's switch over to,
But it
oh,
was early in the
one thing.
morning, wasn't it? Like when everything nuked, it was early in the morning, or was it late? I don't remember.
I think it was a late afternoon.
Oh God, don't tell me that. Oh man.
Not saying that it's gonna play out a one for one,
Mm.
right? Things are a little bit different. But there is also some slight orders at 88. I don't know if we're gonna catch. It's not really heavy at all. This is the heaviest right here. So I can see a scenario in which we do try to revisit that 79K candle, go slightly above it, 80K, and then head lower. Because if we look at the liquidity to the downside, the orders are still piling, and they're piling lower into like the 49s, right? In slight 49s, 50s, 52, 18 million still at 55. So there's definitely some definitely still interest in lower prices. If we flip over to the perps, right? I know some people like to put them all together. I like to keep them separate. I think for me it's easier. Let's bring up the 30-minute. Let's adjust our settings here. There is a lot of liquidity layered all the way to the downside, which is actually very, very interesting. Doesn't mean we can't go higher. We have interest at 83K here. But again, guys, this is something that we've said over and over again. When it's 90 and above, it serves as a magnet. We've seen it play out. As of right now, to the upside, can we go ahead and wick to the upside in 80, 83? Sure. But you can't deny all of this liquidity that's building to the downside, and all of it like this. You see how it's just stairways down, or maybe an elevator down, elevator down. It reminds me a lot of 1010. Guys, again, I am not saying we're going to nuke in one candle. I am completely open to it going higher, right? As I've mentioned, as we've seen, as I've shown on the chart, that monthly 20 EMA, very important. Do we close above it, or do we close below it? I think that's gonna play a big role. We have 10 days to see where that closes, right? But again, we have to be open to both sides, because technically it if the 4 year cycle is still intact, we still have a lot more downside to come, right? And a run like this to the upside for BTC, it's not uncommon. We've seen that time and time again how we get this run to the upside while the liquidity building below, building below, building below, building below. And then what happens? At some point, we reach exhaustion to the top side. We hit that exhaustion point, and then it seems like an elevator down where we grab all of it. It's like boop, 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 boop. We've seen it play out so many times. And there is still more building to the downside into the 50s. 53, we have some slight build up, 53.5, 39. So none of it yet is at that 90 million or more that we want to see, but it's still building. It's building. There's a lot of interest still to the downside. And I think this is very important. I know I know we want to just get out of the bear market and we want to, just send it to all-time highs already. But the way I see it, lower prices equal opportunity. Do you want to buy more Bitcoin at a premium or do you want to buy more Bitcoin at a discount? And I think that what it comes down to, right? So caution, if we saw the 4 hour telling us that we have to be ready for some downside. It is very similar to what happened in October. We're seeing the liquidity build up to the downside even as this moves goes higher. Even on both sides, on the spot side, we have an order at 80K. So can we go at 80K, 83? I wouldn't rule that out, right? And then, but keep in mind, we still have heavy orders to the downside on spots. And on the weekly chart, actually, I'm gonna rotate my screen again, Lady Trader. I am so sorry.
No, no, you're
I'm
good.
gonna,
Go right ahead.
I'm
We'll
gonna bring
bring
up
it
the
up.
chart because all right, because on the weekly chart, there's a big area that we wanna that I wanna bring up real quick, and then we'll get into some alpha on the equity side that we spoke about on space, but I don't think we spoke about it with your audience just yet. So I kind of just want your audience to take advantage of this, and so we can see. Sorry, let me just fix this. Let me get this fixed up. All right, this is a big level for me right here.
Hmm.
83, 82.4 actually.
Yeah.
82,851. That's a big area here on the weekly. We start to see closes above that. Granted, we have that EMA, but that EMA puts us closer to 90. And why am I bringing this up? During spaces, we all have our invalidation levels as traders, right? We all have our invalidation levels. And in the DMs, when I'm on different spaces, I get asked so many times, okay, my thesis is we're going to go lower, right? My thesis is that the 4 year cycle is still intact based on the liquidity levels, based on, history. And there's a lot of confluence uh, in certain numbers to the downside, like that 35K, right? But as traders, we all have our invalidation levels. And I've mentioned before on space, and I've been asked and I've mentioned before on spaces, what would be my invalidation level? I think for me, we start to close above this EMA, this pushing us into that 90K area, closes above that. I think it opens the door to higher as well, right? So I'm just giving both sides of the take, right? In terms of liquidity, if BTC is to follow the liquidity like it's been following, the whole trajectory, um, we're in for some downside, right? And if you recall the first short that we did together, Lady Trader, one thing that I've always mentioned, and I've made a post about it, right? Whenever there's liquidity building to the downside, doesn't mean that it goes there right away. It
Hmm.
dances above the liquidity, makes a fake move to the upside, and then comes right back down. We saw it on the initial move to 60 when it went all the way up to 82, when we're seeing it again, right? So there's been three instances now where we've seen liquidity build up to the downside, price completely ignore that, go to the upside, liquidate, squeeze, and then come back and grab that liquidity to the downside, right? And each move to the downside tends to be aggressive, right? So for our community, once again, for my community, they know this already. Doesn't mean that the price cannot go higher, right? 80K, 83K, two big areas to the top side, but you cannot go wrong with buying some insurance, right? So hedging your bets. The best time to buy insurance, the best time to open a hedge position is when you feel like you don't need it, right? When everything
Hmm.
is pumping and everything feels like, oh my God, it's never gonna go down again. It's up only from here, $1 million BTC in one candle. When you get that feeling, that is the best time to hedge. All right. So now I did have some alpha for everyone listening or tuning into the stream. We covered this actually on the spaces a few times. One thing that I like to do, Lady Trader, I am such a nerd. I like to read and research, and sometimes I
Wait,
spend
I
hours
love
and hours.
that. I love that about you.
Thank you. I spent hours and hours just reading stuff. So there's been multiple times that I've come across Bloomberg articles, that make sometimes, they do like clickbaits and stuff, just to get readers in, right? But every so often they share some alpha. Earlier this year, they put out an article about a big investor that was going all in on copper because he saw a big copper move. copper did move. We saw the move in copper. Granted, it took some time, but we saw copper completely give us a nice move above 660, right? So recently, they put out another article stating that this same investor, this same hedge fund company, the same one that made the big copper bet when copper was around $5, he is making a big bet on rare earth minerals, right?
Hmm.
So if his success trajectory were to repeat, there's definitely something moving within the rare earth sector. Now, the rare earth has been something that has been in the news for some time, right? We saw earlier this year there was a lot of back and forth between the U.S. and China on rare earth minerals. What happened? We saw a lot of stocks, they went absolutely crazy and then they sold off. Now what they're saying is they suspect some kind of big move within rare earth, again, based on the trajectory of this successful investor. So, and I believe US will be in China sometime soon, so I wouldn't rule out something there, right? But what's very interesting today, Yahoo put out an article saying that they're seeing the rare earth sector catching a bid. One of the big movers for the day so far was CRML, critical minerals. The chart to me looks very interesting. I would like to see us break above 724. We start to break above 724. Again, I love EMAs. I think EMAs, they serve as such a great guide for the overall trajectory, right? So if we start to see closes above this EMA right here, so 724, 726, I think we're in for a move slightly higher. Granted, it does have some work to do, but we've
Mhm.
seen how it has come up towards this EMA a couple times and it has rejected, right? So now let's see what it does when we hit this EMA. But it so far today it's given us a nice run. It's up over 18%. So what I would like to see if for continuation, because we need continuation, right? We need continuation. We need we need some follow through. We need to make sure that this move is not just a pump and a dump, right? Because there's a volatility within the entire market at the moment, right? So what we want to see closes above 724 with some strength and some volume, right? This weekly candle is closing in a couple hours, so let's see where we close. But I think where it closes, but I think we need to keep an eye on, and I share this with my community already, right? So MP, USAR, CRML, and there's a whole bunch of tickers, but when the first when the first flow of money came flowing into this rare earth sector, the spotlight was on MP, USAR, and CRML. So I think those would be great starters for your watch list. And I'm working with Ryan Ladd and on the back end. We're putting up a list together on
Mhm.
additional tickers that we might want to take a look at that are part of that rare earth mineral sector, because I think there's money to be made, right? We caught the move on copper, the move
Mhm.
on silver, both ways up and down. And I think now there's a move or money to be made within the rare earth sector as well. So I just wanted to bring that information, bring you that alpha, Lady Trader. Also, before I hand it over, Figma, remember we brought that up? Actually, two, Lady Trader. So Bull was one that we brought up with your community a few times. This one we got in below five, and it went as far as $10 yesterday. So it doubled from our original entry. The weekly looks strong. The weekly looks really good, right? So I kind of just want to see where this weekly chart, where this weekly candle closes. But this is one that has been overlooked many times because it's Webull, Robinhood, SoFi, and a few others. This one has been the biggest laggard. So definitely an opportunity there. And also Figma was one that we shared last time I was here. We want to see it close above 28. It's at 27 now, but it has been giving us a nice move. Last time I was on your stream, Lady Trader, we were at 24. So from 24 to 7 to 27,
Mhm.
slight move to the upside, but I think above 28, 29, that's when things get a little bit interesting. But besides that, Lady Trader, That's all I have for today. I wanted to show you guys the BTC chart, things that I was looking at, the liquidity levels, what it meant for me, things that I share with my community, and some alpha. Thank you so much for having me, Lady Trader.
Love that. Thank you, Nat. Really, really appreciate it. I do have a question for you, Nat. Levels to watch on USAR.
Oh, let's bring that up. Yeah, so this is the weekly chart. On USAR, last time we came up to $20.22 and reject at $20.37 and rejected. Let's see if we can reclaim 20, possibly maybe even 21. Above 21, I think we have a chance of higher, but it has to break above this because it has tried a few times and it rejected. It's tried last time and we're forming this not the best looking candle here. So let's see if we can break above 2021 for higher. That would be the best entry in my opinion, because if we do get another rejection, we're looking at 60, possibly lower. So keep your eyes on 20 and 21.
Love it. Thank you, Nat. This was a great take today. And I love that you bring up equities and metals and everything that we should be paying attention to as well. So, really, really appreciate you. We're going to bring up bits. And by
Thank
the
you.
way, if you haven't already liked, shared, and commented, please do so. Would love to get as many people up here as we can. There will be a lot of alpha that we will be discussing today. So, it's going to be fun. Bits, are you ready?
Sorry, I was muted. Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm trying to bring up. May have to put this on its own tab. There we go. We'll do that. And I'll move it over to. Let me move it over to the screen. Give me 1 sec, guys. I want to share this.
Bits, are you still in the long position that you took?
No, I'm out. I closed too early. I didn't think it was gonna pop this aggressively. So, but it's all good though. I got the move I wanted. If it gave a little
Yeah.
extra, it gave a little extra.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Let's go look at this. So I want to look at Coin Glass here. Why is it doing this? Hold on here. There we go. I think I finally got it.
Oh, actually, that's actually very interesting. I believe it was Crank that mentioned there is some liquidations around 52K and 49K. If we zoom out on it, not sure if you see that.
So let's look at it two ways. I think a lot of people probably look at Model 1 and um, I don't know how many people are aware, right? I don't know if we've talked about it on here before or not, but Model 1 is for like high leverage positions, right? So it's aggregating like the 20x's, 50x's, 100x stuff. It's really better suited for more like near-term range trading. Model 2 is the lower leverage stuff, which is likely to be like longer term swing positions, and also including more similar to kind of like a spot heat map. So, but watch, if we go to Model 1, um, I'm gonna go out to the 1 year on Model 1. We can see on Model 1 here on the 1 year, it is loaded down here below where we got the bounce, right at about 61 or so. Absolutely loaded. If we go out to a 2 year, I gotta subscribe. I'm not subscribing to crap. Hold on here. It's like when Nat tries to send me articles that require me to sign up to read it. I'm like, nah, I
That
ain't
was a
signing up
BlackBerry
for
article.
nothing. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So this one's actually not showing that much below, but it's showing a lot stacked below that low at 62, which is where we got that bounce, right? And
Mhm.
there is some down here at like 57, but it's not significant. Like the big one is down at 62, and then we have another cluster coming up here at about like 83 or so, right? So Model 1 on the 6 month at 83, there's a big line. If we go to the 1 year, it gets even more pronounced. You'll see it right here at this overhead level there's a lot right there, right at 83. But the big one on Model 1, Brighter than 83 still is up here at 98. That is the biggest one of all the overheads,
Oh,
right? Is at 98,
oh.
which is very interesting on Model 1. And so this is high leverage. This is high leverage. Keep in mind 20x, 50x, 100x is what it's aggregating. If we go to Model 2, let's go to Model 2 first, and then we'll look at the 6 month, and then we'll go to the year. So Model 2, this is the lower leverage. It's going to be like your 3x, 5x. I don't think 10x would be included in this. I think 10x is probably in Model 1. So we can see here on Model 2 that there is some here at 57, and there's a huge one down here at 51 still. 49, 51, 50, this entire area below 52. On Model 2, which is not the high leverage stuff. This is like the longer term stuff. Big hot spot down here near 50, and then again at 57. And then we are approaching up here around 83. There is some as well. And then if I go to the 1 year on Model 2, the bottom stuff is still there at about 50K, right? And really below 60. There's a lot there, 57 down to like 50. Look at this level here at 82, 83. It is a hot zone on Model 2. It is absolutely loaded here on Model 2. Not so much at 98. 98, there's not so much. So what that tells me is that, again, like we're talking about people that maybe at 98 got in on those higher leverage forever shorts that they were going to short it down to 20K or something like that
Mm-hmm.
on 100x leverage or something like that. But there's not that much of it on the long term. So there's not that many people that got into low leverage shorts around that area. The low leverage stuff happened on that move to 83. That last leg up on 83, people got um into some lower leverage positions above, and there's a lot below. There's a lot of low leverage stuff below going into the 50s. So I thought that was interesting to kind of look at that differently and bring those up. Again, you guys can come on here. This is all through the free access here. Just set up an account and you can go Model 1, Model 2, Model 3. Model 3, I don't know because CoinGlass actually doesn't talk about what their model is for Model 3. They share Model 1 details and Model 2 details, but Model 3, there's not a lot to go off of. So I really don't know what this mix is. It's a totally separate mix. Um, but let's pull that up also on the 6 month, and then we'll look at the 1 year. So on the
Hmm.
6 month for Model 3, we already took the hotspot. The hotspot was right here at 76. We've already taken that on Model 3, and we took a little bit up here at 78. There's not a whole lot on Model 3. Model 3 has some up here into the 80s, into like the low to mid 80s, but it's not as hot as the other ones. Where the Model 3 has a lot is down here, way down here in the 50s. There's a really hot spot in the 50s, and then there's some obviously right here, right below this structure at like 62, right where everyone was longing. So I don't know what this one has in terms of like how it's looking at the leverage. It's different from the other ones, but I do find it interesting though that again, like I'm seeing a lot of reasons why we need to be paying attention potentially for still a final damage move up to 83, somewhere in there. Let me switch back to trading view also, and I'll show you guys from like a trading view perspective why I am still watching
There's a
potentially
lot of
for.
confluence between that and Market Monkey Terminal. There's orders at 83
Mm,
on perps.
Hmm.
there you go. There you go. Trading view. There we go. Uh-oh. Hold on. Trading view. Boom. Let me pull this up here. So on TradingView, one of the main reasons I still think we can go higher is this 12-month rolling VWAP. And this is what I
Oh.
was talking about on the space earlier, that we broke all of these, when we basically put in the high on the way down, we broke below all of these rolling VWAPs, right? And you can see here that these bands, when you're in a bull market, you're typically above them, right? You'll kind of chop into them, but you kind of stay above all of them. And the 12-month, once you're above the 12-month, you're pretty much above the 12-month until the bull market's over, right? And then you stay below it. But the other two, you kind of jump in and out of them. And what's interesting is when I was looking at this, on this first drop, the first big drop after the 1010, but the first big drop to 80K and then the bounce to 98, where did we reject? We rejected right on the 3 month, right? So the 3 month became the first one that we rejected from. Then we dropped again. We went up the next time. Where did we reject from? Now it was the 6 month. We rejected from the 6 month the second time, right? From 60K to 83K. Now we dropped again. We're above the two earlier ones. Where's the next level that we're likely going to reject from? Is that 12 month, and that 12 month is right around 83K. So I still think there's a potential that we may get another little final push still, whether it's over the weekend, whether it's today, whether it's Monday. I really don't care. The time is something that I can't control, and I don't even want to try and predict what that timing is going to look like. But I'm thinking there's a pretty good chance we're going to come up here and flirt with this and get rejected from it. This would also, if you think about what a move like this would mean, there's a lot of folks that are watching here, right? This zone up here as bull market is back on confirmation, right?
Oh yeah.
Because you're
Yes.
you're 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 setting, what are you setting? You're setting your first higher high on a weekly.
Yep.
So a lot of people are going to be looking at this, a break of this high over here at 83, and they're going to go nuts. They're going to be the bulls, the maxis, they are going to be just insufferable above this area if we wick up there. And that's the risk. I think that if we were to get a move up there, like let's say Monday, because let's say Bitcoin just kind of chills out and it's just kind of going sideways, but Monday we see a push that wakes up there, but doesn't close above it, and by end of Monday or even Tuesday, we're back below. Those that don't understand TA are going to be screaming, "Ha! Bull market is back. We just put in a higher high. Um, all the bears were wrong. 4 year cycle people were wrong. Lady Trader was wrong.
Mm.
Wolf traders are wrong, right? They're all going to be screaming this. But if we don't actually get a weekly close or a monthly close above this level, it really doesn't matter to me. It doesn't even matter to me. The daily close, it's like, maybe I'll pay attention, but I want the weekly. Really, I want the weekly close above that level. And if we don't get it, I'm not going to get that excited about it. I'm willing to wait. But what I suspect is that there's a chance that Monday or at some point next week we get that push. Bulls get euphoric, we come back down, and then that is what then leads into that move that comes, takes the liquidity, maybe comes back down here to this area again. If it doesn't come straight there, I mean, it could do a like lower high structure or something. But yeah, this level to me is just still seems very interesting. I was looking for a move at least to 72 to 74, mainly because from like a monthly chart. And here, let me put up the VWAPs. Let me put up these things. From like a monthly chart, I was just looking at previous month highs and stuff. And I wanted to see a move. I actually was sharing a chart last week, I think, when we were still down here. We were hovering around like 62, 63. And I said, look, even if this thing is going to roll over and we are going to see new lows, I want to see the July high swept at least, but potentially even a move to June's high. And we're now above both of those. So those criteria are met for me. So if there is a move lower coming, for me, I feel like those were the minimum requirements I wanted to see. Was at minimum I wanted to see at least July's high taken. Even if this hadn't pumped the way it pumped right now, I at least wanted to see this thing come up, sweep July high, and then roll over, right? Just from like a candle structure perspective. But we're getting a little bit of a push, and so now I'm just kind of questioning, like, up here, sure seems mighty interesting of a level here for a lot of folks. And they're going to be look at the importance of this zone. If we drag it across, this is also where you bounced back here in 2025, right? When we had the big breakout end of 24, and then we pulled back to like 70, 74, 75K. But the closes on this monthly chart were up here. The closes were up at 82. It's also where you wick down to, on that first dump, you came right into this zone. So this is going to be a huge area. It's going to be a huge area. I think there's a pretty good chance that we come up here and play with that area before we turn around. There's been so many people, even in my own group, and I've had to be like the dad voice and pumping the brakes a little bit. But there's been people in my own group that have been wanting to short this thing the entire way up, right? And some of them have tried to short it the entire way up, but some of them are just every day asking when are we shorting? When are we shorting? Not yet. There's nothing about this chart that's telling me we need a short. There's absolutely nothing about this chart. If I go to the monthly time frame, does this candle here look directional or does it look corrective? It's impulsive. It's going straight up. There's nothing about this that's screaming exhaustion. If I go down to the weekly, is there anything about this that's screaming exhaustion or that it's slowing down? No, there's nothing about that. If I go to the daily, is there anything about this series of daily candles that's telling me that they're slowing down? No, they're not overlapping. As soon as one closes, the other one moves away from it. As soon as it closes, the other one moves away from it. There's nothing about these daily candles that are telling me that this trend is done yet or that it's tired. Absolutely nothing. This is a strong uptrend.
Yeah, there's no
It's
exhaustion yet. Hasn't hit
there's
the
no
exhaustion point
exhaustion.
yet.
There's zero
Yep.
exhaustion until you come to this
Mhm.
12 hour. The 12 hour finally gives you a wick and you're now printing an inside bar. So you have to literally go to under a daily time frame to start looking at a potential inside bar. So for me, I think it's too soon. I think if anything, this thing's going to keep chopping people up, just like we said on Tuesday. People trying to short this is going to keep driving it higher. It's going to keep driving it higher. And the one thing I called out in that video clip from Tuesday, and I think this is the key. I literally think this is the key to the whole thing. The last thing I said on there, because we said shorts are going to fuel this initial push, right? People trying to short it, short it, short it, short it, short it, short it. So it's going to keep, as it's hitting all those stops and liquidations, it just keeps going higher. Why? Because shorts, as they get stopped out and liquidated, what do they turn into? They turn into spot buys.
Longs. And they
Yeah, they
want to go
turn into
long at some point, right?
Yep, they turn into spot buys. Every time somebody gets liquidated on a perp short, it turns into a spot buy, a spot buy, a spot buy. It turns into buys. They're buys on the chart. Is how the order book um, interprets that. Is it looks as buys. Buys are hitting as shorts are getting stopped out. They turn into buys. So in that video, we said, look, shorts are going to fuel this thing up into the 70s, and then what's going to happen is at some point there will be a level where the people shorting are going to say, you know what, this is too strong. Now market structure broke. Something happened that's going to turn all the people that were shorting into longs. We saw the same thing up here, guys, right here at this level. And I remember this because I was calling this move up. I mean, Lady Trader, you'll remember we said we're going to 80 something and we went. And I was looking for shorts as well because I wanted to catch this move. But I remember very well that when I first started to try and short like around this high, there was too much strength and I sat out. I said, nope, you know what? I'm going to sit aside and I'm going to leave it. I got stopped out like once or twice and then I said, nope, I'm going to wait. And I remember seeing the posts from influencers on this entire thing. I'm shorting it. I'm shorting it. This is it. It's about to roll over. This happened here where it pulled back and then it gave this final push here. People flipped. The people that were shorting here that have been talking about shorting up here, the people that have been calling this move that it was going to go lower since the lows, suddenly up here said, you know what? This is breaking structure. This is looking really good. I was wrong. I'm going long. Those posts happened up here in this last little bit, this last little tiny bit. You made every single person who throughout this entire pump had kept a level head and said this is likely just a fake out that's going to end up going lower. It took this last little push. It took this shift right here, this last little push right here, where it did a double top, came down, broke above it. This little tiny piece right here started converting people that were reasonably looking in the same place. And here's what's sad. They were shorting here, right? They were saying, nah, this thing's likely to roll over somewhere in here. Their invalidation was up here. Their invalidation was up here at like 90K. And this little final push on the move led them to flip, close out any positions that were safe. They were safe. They were up here. They closed out any open positions. They gave up and they decided here that they were going to join the long party and go long because they were wrong and the trend was too strong and clearly they had called it wrong. Right on this last little bit. We're talking about the last $2,000, $3,000 of that push caused people to flip. So what I'm saying is that the same thing is likely to happen up here. There are still people that are still thinking this rolls over. What is it going to take for those people to suddenly say, you know what, I was wrong. I think this is going higher. I think the bull market is back. I need to join longs. It's my suspicion that that would be a move above this high. A move above that high would get people saying, "Oh, I was wrong. I'm not going to be stubborn. I'm going to flip with the price. I'm going to let price tell me what to do. Price is breaking higher. I need to go long, blah 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 blah." The same thing that happened here is going to happen here. And if it can't close, if it can't close above and it just comes back down and ends up with just a big blow off top, that's likely going to be it. So I'm looking for a combination of, this is a very, very key structural level on the Bitcoin chart, this 80, 83, 83K area. Huge, huge technical level. Very, very important. And then also I'm looking at the psychological side of that, which is, what is it going to take? At what price do people that have been shorting this entire thing since like 66K say, you know what? I think I was wrong. I think this thing's going to 100K. And at what price does that happen? And I am going to bet that that happens right around here, around 83 to 85. That is where that magic happens. And if there is a short to be had, that's where I will be looking for exhaustion for whatever comes after that. But that's
Amazing.
my
There's a
thought.
lot of
Love it.
confluence between what I shared and what you shared. I think interesting times for BTC. I can definitely
Yeah.
see a wick above 83K just to like fool people and then completely
Yep.
do like a Uno reverse and get the
Mm-hmm.
liquidity disbalance to the downside.
Hmm.
Yep.
Love it,
Yep.
Bits. Absolutely great takes there. And then also, what a call when you mentioned at the bottom. And I know we kind of went back and forth. And Bits, absolute legend. I mean, the reasoning that he provided, I was like, oh, wow, I did not think of it this way. This makes sense. But yeah, it was amazing. It just like playing it, like watching it play out live, exactly how Bits described it. It was absolutely incredible. There are not a lot of people in crypto who know what they're doing when it comes to trading, and I think the Wolf crew, the entire crew, Bits of Wealth, Nat, um, myself, and everybody else, we know what we're talking about when it comes to markets, and we constantly talk to one another and try and find confluence. And you saw that even today with Nat. She's coming up to some conclusions, and then Bits is coming up with the same conclusions. I also have a really good take on this BTC here. Anything, Bits, that you want to add before I share my screen here?
No, I really just wanted to talk about a BTC, because I think everything else is going to follow Bitcoin. If Bitcoin
Yeah,
stays
yeah.
strong, and doesn't roll over, I think alts probably keep pushing through the weekend. And
Hmm.
I'd actually prefer, that would be my preference, that Bitcoin kind of stays up and to the right slowly through the weekend.
Hmm.
Alts absolutely fly over the weekend, and then sometime early next week we get that final little push on BTC. You capitulate the bears,
Hmm.
you roll the entire thing over, and next week is just a beautiful trading week for us. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's all I got.
Tuesday. Yep. I
Let's do
think
it. Yeah,
Tuesday would be interesting. Yeah. Tuesday,
yeah.
let's look for some short opportunities. Absolutely. All right. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my charts right here. We had some phenomenal moves. We are absolutely crushing it in the markets. I'm going to be showing you some of the returns that we've had in the community, and we'll also dive into some of the stuff that's happening on different blockchains, some launch pads that we're going to talk about, my favorite launch pads that I've found, and they are being it's just so rewarding to be part of those ecosystems. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But here's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna self-identify as Bits of Wealth for just a second, because the channel are usually his thing. And we talked about VWAPs today, and I think we are going to be coming to the same conclusion here with this. So we do have this channel that's working out pretty well, and I do anticipate. So this morning we had this beautiful move, and I'm going to go to M15 here for just a second. This move here is usually what I call this like raw candle. It's like $2,000 or more, and it's like a big momentum candle. And we see that we've seen these kind of similar setups on the long side as well. When you have a really awful crash, that's a few $1,000s long candle, usually marks the top or the bottom or the short term um, top or the bottom. You do
Yeah.
have to be careful though about the timing and everything else. But this one, I would have shorted it right here, and I would have taken a nice little profit, like at M15 50 EMA. We've talked about it in the group quite a bit. You guys know how I trade. But this one, I would have absolutely shorted here with my stop loss right here, right above this candle. It would have been such a beautiful risk to reward ratio. Obviously, I was not watching it because we are busy with trenches, finding a lot of opportunities there, short term or low cap opportunities that are absolutely massive. And so that's what I've been spending a lot of time. Like now, she was talking about how she spends a lot of time reading and researching. I'm the same way because I do want to find some of these narratives early. Am I always going to nail them down? No. Are there going to be some rugs? Absolutely. But your profits are going to offset any losses that you have, especially if you do proper risk management, right? You're not going full port into one play. You are being very, very risk averse. Very small portion of your portfolio goes into those plays, and your risk to reward ratio is awesome, and you continue to do well there. So I've been finding a lot of those opportunities, but this one I would have shorted. So missed this one. Now I'm watching to see, and obviously when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, because I did send a setup yesterday in the group, and we were sitting somewhere around here, and I said, you know what, we're going to go up to that level that I identified on the weekly chart. We're going to hit that level, and then I'm going to be looking for short opportunities here, right? Depending on where we are at. Like we are already here, so next week maybe somewhere here, right? So I'll be looking for short opportunities there. But when I saw this candle at 15, I'm like, oh my God, shoot, did I miss it? But no, it's we still have some upside here. So hopefully we hit that, and then we'll see how it works out. This is also something to keep an eye on. Look at this one. This was like your big red candle, and then we had this sort of price
Some
action here
big
before
red
we
volume
had
on that
this.
one.
Huh?
That's a lot of red volume on that one.
Yeah, exactly. So now we are seeing what green volume. So it's going to be very similar setup. Maybe something like this, right? Maybe chop and then crash a little bit and then be down. And but it's really going down to our discussion too that we had here, right? Because you said it's consolidating here. So whatever the first move is, it's like the most likely the
Yes.
fake move. So
Yep.
so this will be very similar up here, where we might have like a couple of weeks of choppy price action within this candle, and then maybe we get a nice little move to the upside, and then boom, it's done. And then of course we are looking at, again, nothing has changed here, guys. I know you're all excited about the markets. I am as well. I love these green candles. Just have to be mindful of what's coming up. We follow the historical data until it proves us wrong. So this is, again, the bottom prediction. Nothing has changed here. We'll be just watching, and we'll be enjoying the markets because we still have some upside here. And so good news for the next few weeks, hopefully. And in that, no, those few weeks, we will be getting some really awesome opportunities as well. All right. Now, what I want to talk about is here. Let me see if I can paste it here. So, what's been happening in the group in Alpha Seedlings? We have had some absolutely awesome opportunities. Small cap plays. Look at the returns here. All of these calls were shared in the group. Remember, this group has um, when we degen, we do it the right way. We do our research. Of course, you're not always going to hit everything. You're going to miss certain things. You're going to find some rugs, but you are also going to find some absolutely phenomenal plays. And so Stonk was actually pretty awesome for us this week. And I want to talk about this a little bit because Base Chain has launched equity pairs this week. And so this launchpad was the first one to launch equity pairs on Base. And so that was pretty awesome. And remember, guys, we were also early on Stonk Fun on Solana. We made a lot of money on that one, and we also made a lot of money on some of the other plays off of Stonk Fun, right? You remember Manlet, right? We made a ton of money on this one. GTS6 also came from Stonk Launchpad. And so this is what you have to remember when you are participating in a Launchpad ecosystem. It's not just about that particular launchpad, but also the secondary plays that are brewing on that launchpad. You have to keep an eye on it. And so we caught some pretty phenomenal moves here. And so one thing also, remember, this is like 853x in the last 30 days. So that's actually pretty phenomenal, right? Especially if you're taking your initials out, you're doing proper risk management. I mean, catching these moves, it's awesome. And so this is a good group to be a part of. It is free to join. If you want to be part of it, DM me and I'll get you added. There are, of course, rules that you have to abide by, but send me a DM, I'll get you added, and hopefully you'll like it. You'll like the group. I'm going to move on to base Stonk, which is the launchpad that I was talking about. So remember, guys, we were part of this Stonk fund super early, right? We found it super early. We invested in Stonk token, and this token actually did $15 million in market cap. Okay, so it went up significantly. It did great for us, and then we also found we got into most of these plays, and we did really great on these, right? We did really good with this one. Most of these we caught, and we are going to continue to catch because this is going to be one of the launch pads that we like. Base Stonk is super early, and their platform token is currently sitting at a 461K market cap. Also, I would say probably the best launch that I've seen in a long time. The dev is absolutely phenomenal. He gave he let the community buy early. It wasn't like any kind of shady stuff happening. I had an early entry under 10K. Community members had an early entry around 10K. And so there wasn't like crazy stuff happening. And then, of course, it blew up. It did 2 mil, close to 2 mil market cap. Of course, after 2 mil, there's always usually a retracement. And so this was actually a pretty phenomenal play. I'm still in it, and really, really excited to see where this one goes. I'm closely advising them as well. I'm closely advising them. I've gotten to know the dev. I've gotten to know the team. They are absolute legends. Very close. They're actually the ones who built virtual community as well. They are like all the virtuals protocol OGs. So I'm excited about this one. They have some really phenomenal whales in supporting this project. So this is one to watch. And then, of course, the other thing, I mean, guys, don't keep an eye on the secondary plays on this platform as well. Like Meme, I think it also did $1 million in market cap. I'm in it. There are quite a few others. So keep an eye on it. I think this one might even be the first token that's paired with WT coin on base. So there may be some first movers that people are not paying attention to here that you may want to check out and see, okay, was this the first Apple first token on base that was paired with Apple? Maybe, maybe not. Look it up. This one, I'm thinking it was, I think the first one or second, I can't remember. But definitely keep an eye on these plays because there is some alpha with this ecosystem. And of course, when you want to get in when they're super cheap, right? You don't want to wait. And also remember, when the platform token goes up, all the other tokens are going to follow. And that's basically free money. Remember what I said about Stonk? I said this to you the other day. I posted it in the group that Stonk has bottomed out. Right? Stonk has bottomed out, at least for the short term. This is where we were sitting. I said, this is bottomed out. It's time to go shopping, buy the secondary pairs. And then I sent a screenshot of the 6 plays and I said, I'm buying these. And look at it. I mean, they are all going up significantly. And so if you are, this basically the same concept applies here. When the platform token goes up, all the other ones are going to go up. So you don't want to wait until this one is already up there, right? You want to start kind of looking at it again, not financial advice. What I do personally is, hey, sitting at 34K, this looks nice. What about this one? What does it do? What is it paired with? Maybe buy a little bit of this, right? The risk is so low with these because they are such low market cap. But then when the platform token goes up, all the other ones are going to follow. So that's how we basically play the Launchpad tokens. And yeah, I mean, this is for me going to be a long-term play, a really excellent flywheel as well. They have burned, I believe, 7.25% already of the token supply because of all of the fees that they generate. They go to do auto buyback and burn, which is pretty phenomenal, similar to what we had with Stonk, if not more powerful here. They also give you creator rewards. They do a lot of things. There's also what we call like the OG ticker. Look at this. I mean, this is so neat. I've been talking about this one, like you have to have OG tickers, otherwise, there's PvP risk and all of that. And we're going to talk about PvP here in a second. It would be nice to pivot. But yeah, this is a good platform to keep an eye on. Phenomenal team. And again, on base. So base season, RWA season on base, it's all starting and this is going to do good. I'm also looking at some of the other chains, by the way. I am positioning myself in some of the Tron plays. Got into most of these last night. We'll be holding it for a little bit because I know Tron definitely is going to join some of the upside here. And then, of course, Hyper EVM also had some plays. There were a couple of launch pads. There's one major launch pad on Hyper EVM. It's called Motion. So we are positioned into that one as well. We'll be watching because it's not quite there yet, but that's when you find the opportunities, right? You have to be early before the rest of the world shows up. And so I'm looking at those two blockchains pretty significantly. We also found some big movers on Arbitrum as well. So these are going to be some really awesome plays to get into. We were in this one as well. We were early to this one. Wow, looks like this is bottoming out as well. And so obviously once this one goes up, there will be other ecosystem tokens that are going to be part of it that are going to go up as well. So keep an eye on some of these launchpad plays. Keep an eye on some of these other chains. Also found a really interesting play on Pulse Chain, which is not my favorite chain at all. I absolutely despise it. But hey, when you find something for 2K, I mean, what's the risk? It's just crazy. And so found this token. It's a music token, has an interesting founder as well, talking about music, and they have a website already. A neat little token. So I did find it early. Spoke with the founder as well. I DM'd him, asked him, hey, what's your plan for your X account? Are you going to be posting anything? I don't know. They may have already posted something by now. But this was a good little play. So I got into this one. It looked interesting to me. Again, very small market cap, right? 3.3K. And it may or may not do something. We'll see. I'm already in profit because I got into it somewhere around here. So we'll see how this one plays out. But yeah, lots of small cap plays with big potential upside. And like I shared earlier, we caught a lot of plays. We are going to continue to catch more and more of these plays as the market continues. Even when it chops a little bit, even when it's topping out, we'll still be finding these opportunities. The best thing that I can tell you is this token, of course, when the markets are bad, you have to be concerned about other plays as well. Most of the tokens are paired with Ethereum. So of course, if Ethereum gets crushed, you're done. Well, this one is paired with USDC. So I mean, to me, this is I'm going to be holding this through and through. I'm not worried about it. If it has a little bit of a downside, I'm going to be buying more of. I think this could be a long-term play, considering what how incredible the dev is, how quickly he delivers things that are suggested to him. I'm excited for this one, but I think pairing it with USDC was probably the best decision ever, because that's the kind of stuff that can kind of keep you bear proof, even if the markets are bad, because you're not really tied to Ethereum. You're not relying on Ethereum for that downside. Because if Ethereum crashes 50%, your token crashes more than that, right? Because you're already getting that crash because of ETH, and then on top of it, people are scared, so they're selling. So this is going to be hopefully a good play. Remember, there were a couple of plays even during the last bear market that did phenomenal when the markets were bad, and they were actually, those tokens were going up in value. So would love to see something like this happening with base Stonk as well. But yeah, guys, just be mindful of the risk management when you are in the trenches. That is the most important thing that I can tell you. We will continue to catch these plays. We are going to continue to rock and roll in the markets, regardless of which direction the market is headed. There is always place to get into. There's always place. There's always narratives that you can find. But yeah, we just keep an eye on, like I said, Tron, whatever their first launchpad is. I don't think they have a launchpad already. That would be a good one. If there is one, leave it in the DM. What you do need, by the way, is BaseBot. I'll leave a link down below as well. Make sure you only use my link. Don't click on other links. Bots are some people may leave a bad link or drainer link or something like that. So I'm going to leave my link down below. You need BaseBot for the bull markets because you can easily bridge between different chains. You can buy different chains. It makes your life easy. So we'll leave that link down below. And then one thing that happened also that has been very controversial is on stable chain, which is a newer chain. We have the original FEFER token, which actually was doing good, initially at least. And we've been in this play as well. We were early on this one. And I still have a position in this one. I think this is going to do well. But look at this one. Somebody, or actually what people are saying is that stable foundation has actually PVP'd it. And so there was like a heavily bundled launch of the token. Relaunch is what they're calling it. Of course, the community is not accepting it as a relaunch because community loves the OG token so much. And then they said we're gonna airdrop you. And yes, they airdropped you, but a very small amount. So if you got like less than 1% of your holdings or something like that, it was pretty crazy. So community is very upset about this whole thing, which is not very good for stable chain as a whole, because it is going to be losing the community trust if they cannot revive the OG token, which they were actually shilling and talking about. Like stablecoin was shilling this token, stablecoin's founder was shilling this token, and now all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we have another token now, by the way, and we're launching it at a very high market cap. It has a big bundle, not very safe, right? But again, it's supply controlled and all of that. But they could have done supply control here too. I mean, it was sitting at a pretty low market cap. So it's just a silly thing to do, in my opinion. Not very good for the launch or for the chain, which is already very struggling quite a bit. But again, keep an eye on it, because one of them is going to probably get Binance listing. We don't know which one at some point, right? Because this is the main play on stable chain. They are going to want to do something about it. So we'll see. This is another play that might do something, because this was another play that they were talking about, unless they do another PVP, of course. So you have to be mindful of that. There is also a Fluffy token. I don't know if it's in there or not, but that was the first RWA token on stable chain, and I did get into that one as well. So yeah, that's really what I'm looking at. We do have quite a few other chains coming up as well. We are there was one play that we got into. This one, see if I can bring it up. So this one is going to be a chain on Bybit, I believe, or BitGet. One, I think it's BitGet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, I'm sorry, Upbit, which is a Korean exchange, which is absolutely phenomenal. So this is a play that we got into super early, somewhere around here, and I think this one has a more of an upside. They had an NFT collection, and so watch out for these new blockchains coming up. Upbit's blockchain is coming up. We have Arc Chain coming up in September. Some of us are already in there. We got into it through some Dior swaps. What was it? Bridge. So some of us already have plays that we are in. The bridge is not working right now, so no need to try that. But wait for it to go live in September. So there's going to be some new chains coming up that may have some good activity there. Arc is by Circle, which is of course the whole USDC, and that Circle is going to be pretty phenomenal to be a part of that ecosystem. So I'm going to be looking out for some opportunities there. But yeah, super excited for what's happening in the market. Absolutely love those green candles. I hope they continue for a little bit, and we continue to find really awesome opportunities for the group. And yeah, I think it's incredible. Make sure that you are supporting the projects that you are buying. It shouldn't be just buying and then selling and moving on. Some of these plays can be long term, but also supporting those projects is important, especially when we are finding those projects so early. DMing the founders, advising them, helping them, it all counts, right? We shouldn't be just there to take profits and move on, but actually be there and help the project. That's the best thing to do. That's the right thing to do. And that also helps your bags. So that is important. Bag working is what trenches are all about. So definitely make some good connections during this market. All right, that's all I have for today. Anything else that we want to talk about? I'm actually going to get some final thoughts and comments from everybody on the crew. So, Bits, anything that you want to add? Any final thoughts or comments from you?
No, look, I mean, if anything, I would say don't FOMO at this point if you missed the meat of the move here. Wait for a good setup. We're going into the weekend. Usually the meat of the move is like Tuesday to Thursday. I don't really do a lot on Fridays. I hardly touch the charts over the weekend. And even Mondays. Mondays I'm usually, because Mondays you get a lot of fake outs, right? I talked about what potentially could be playing out next week. So yeah, don't FOMO. Just chill. If you missed it, hey, they'll yeah, I know it's FOMO Friday, but don't FOMO. Don't FOMO this
Yes.
Friday. You can FOMO next Friday, not this Friday. Okay, on our next week, I'll remind you the same thing, not to FOMO that Friday, to FOMO the next one, and we'll just keep it going, right? So, um, but yeah, no, that's it. That's it for me. Um, was a good week.
Perfect.
Touch grass this
Yeah, I
weekend.
mean,
Yeah, go reset.
absolutely. We'll get the final takes from Nat, and then I'm going to leave you with a really phenomenal alpha as well, everybody. Nat, any final thoughts or comments from you?
Yeah, I would say in terms of BTC, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. Wait for confirmation before entering in any trades, right? This thing can absolutely go to it can have a little more upside, 80K, 83K. But I think as far as the liquidity, a lot of it is more to the downside. And I've never seen BTC continue to all-time high and leaving so much liquidity behind, right? And in terms of the equity markets, let's keep an eye on USAR, CRML, just rare earth minerals in general, because I think there's something there for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so I have a very interesting alpha. I'm gonna actually share my screen again for 1 second. This is gonna be a very short and sweet, but I think something that you all need to be aware of. Um, okay, here we go. So you guys remember I talked about Seal token before. I've talked about Crypto Paradise, and the co-founder is actually the same person who was also the co-founder for Ferrum Network, which did about $300 million in market cap. They've also had a token on Pulse Chain, which also did 300x from their Fair Lounge. So very experienced team, really phenomenal team, and they have an opportunity coming up. And by the way, if you're part of Alpha Seedlings, you were in this token already from 90K. We got a pre-sale, which they didn't really offer any communities those pre-sales. It was very selective because this DAO, even though this token is new, the DAO is very old. Like it's years and years old. DAO has some excellent members there, lots of alpha that's shared there. So this one we got into around 90K in pre-sale, and I'm bullish on it, extremely bullish on this one, and I think this is going to do something. So I'm holding my bag entirely. I have not taken any profit on this one. And what is happening right now is there is an opportunity that's shared in Seal DAO that is very unique. It's a real estate opportunity where you're actually buying a portion or a share in a real estate property. And the person who is running it is an absolute legend. A lot of things that he does for charity work and everything. And I've also have been following this gentleman for quite a few years, very reputable. And then of course Seal team is doing all of that setup with him and everything. So there's a lot of great collaboration happening. And this real estate opportunity, it's not a crypto token. So you're actually buying a share in a real estate property, and it gives you rewards like rental money that comes in, and quite a other things. Like I can talk about it. Maybe we'll bring John on one of the live streams so he can talk about it at some point. But it's an incredible opportunity from what I've seen, and I think it's going to do pretty good for everybody. So I'm excited for that one. But if you want to be part of this one, you need 200K tokens, which is again, it's not much, considering that some of the DAO members have previously, when it was part of Ferrum DAO, have paid upwards of 30K to join this DAO. It's that valuable. And during the bull market, these guys absolutely crush it. They find so many opportunities early. They get us into pre-sales early, and they reward their DAO members. Like their DAO members, literally, they eat well. So I am excited for everything that's coming up with Crypto Paradise. And of course, some of the alpha that I share in Alpha Seedlings, I also share in Crypto Paradise DAO as well, along with all of the other really awesome people that are there who also bring in their alpha. So it's just like a group effort. But it's a great group to be a part of, and that real estate opportunity is so phenomenal to, I think, to look at and research. So not financial advice, but looking at it, I was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this. This makes sense. This is phenomenal. So absolutely a really good opportunity to look at. I'm sorry, I can't talk because I slept really late. I'm hardly getting any sleep lately because there's so much happening in the crypto world. We have to find the alpha, and we have to find it early. So this is one of those alphas that you should be researching as well. But if you need help joining Seal DAO or Alpha Seedlings, DM me. We'll be happy to onboard you and help you out. But yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to bring up because that opportunity is absolutely amazing to look at. All right, that is all for today. We had a great FOMO Friday today. I hope the markets stay green for the next few weeks so we have some opportunities, even if it chops for a little bit, right? Alts are going to continue to run, which means that small caps are going to continue to run as well for us. And hopefully more and more narratives are going to pop up and we're going to find some opportunities. All right, we'll be back again next week with another FOMO Friday. Thank you so much, Nat. Thank you, Bits, for co-hosting this with me. And by the way, everybody, please follow these two legends who are here with me today. They are absolutely phenomenal. Bits also has a trading community, so send him a DM if you want to be part of his trading community. It's going to help you out a lot because he's very accurate with these setups. And his community has a lot of trades every single day, like a lot of leverage trades, spot trades, all of that. So there's some good alpha there if you're interested in day trading. As you can see, I'm doing most of the trenches right now. He's doing day trading actively, so definitely send him a DM if you are interested in joining his community. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Bates, again. Thanks, Nat. Have a wonderful
Yeah, of
rest of
course.
the day, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Guys.